Life imitates art, and art imitates life, but sometimes fiction and reality come a little too close for comfort. From specific causes of death to predictions of national tragedies, no one intended these episodes of TV to be so haunting. Since news broke on October 28, 2023, of Matthew Perry's death, Friends fans have been reeling over the loss of the man behind the sarcastic and lovable Chandler Bing. For many, their comfort show now has a dark cloud over it, especially since 2 episodes eerily foreshadow his death. In Season 9, Episode 8, the one with Rachel's other sister, Chandler suggests to Monica that they use their expensive wedding plates for Thanksgiving dinner. She's hesitant, but obliges. Though the plates survive the tense meal, it's Chandler who accidentally knocks over the entire box of them, shattering the dishes on the floor. He tells his friend,
"Well, what do you know? I guess I'll be the one who dies first."
While intended as a gag, this line takes on a whole new meaning now, as Perry is indeed the first of the core 6 cast members to pass away. Similarly, in Season 7, Episode 5, the one with the engagement picture, Chandler struggles to smile properly for a photo to announce his and Monica's engagement in the newspaper. A frustrated Monica says,
"This picture is supposed to say Geller and Bing to be married, not local woman saves drowning moron."
Authorities initially believed Perry to have died in a drowning incident, though the exact cause of his death is still being investigated as of the making of this video. Given the circumstances, some fans are calling for Monica's line to be cut from the episode. One of the most heartbreaking Modern Family storylines comes in Season 11, Episode 11, Legacy, when Ty Burrell's Phil Dunphy grows concerned about his aging father, Frank, when he's discovered seemingly lost in the grocery store. Frank, played by the legendary Fred Willard, assures his son that he's fine, and they spend an enjoyable day together. Little does Phil know it's their final day together, and Frank passes away soon after. The episode aired on January 15, 2020, and exactly 4 months later, Willard died at the age of 86. Just as Phil and Frank spent the latter's last moments reflecting on their relationship and ending the day on a hopeful note, Burrell and Willard did the same during their last moments together on the Modern Family set. Frank knew his time was coming to an end, and Burrell believes Willard did too, even while filming the death of his Modern Family character. Burrell said in a tribute to Willard published in Entertainment Weekly, "The reason that moment was so poignant was that he knew his time was limited, and the only real way for him to say goodbye was to say, 'I'll see you on the next one.' That's the way he always thought. He said it with a wink, and he knew that that wasn't the case." In 2015, the Season 1 finale of Mr. Robot was postponed from airing on USA Network because one scene is darkly similar to a devastating killing in Roanoke, Virginia, the week before its original release date. The episode shows James Plouffe, Executive Vice President of Technology for E-Corp, shooting himself on national television due to the irreversibility of the 5/9 hack. Just days before the Mr. Robot finale was due to air, former WDBJ reporter Vesta Lee Flanagan II shot and killed 2 of his past colleagues, reporter Alison Parker, 24, and cameraman Adam Ward, 27, while they were live on the air covering the 50th anniversary of Smith Mountain Lake. Flanagan, who also shot himself, was previously fired from WDBJ for problematic behavior. He had sued the station for discriminating against him, but his lawsuit was ruled as baseless, ABC News reported. Ultimately, the Mr. Robot finale was postponed out of sympathy and respect for the victims' loved ones, since the events that unfold in it are disturbingly reminiscent of the real-life event. Throughout the run of Scrubs, the hospital's unnamed janitor makes the life of the lead, JD, as difficult as possible. He's always pulling pranks, annoying him, and bending the truth. However, one comment made by janitor became eerily factual 4 years after it was uttered on Scrubs. In Season 6, Episode 7, Iraq veteran Brian Dancer comes to Sacred Heart suffering memory loss due to a head injury. As a result, the war becomes a major topic of conversation among the staff. At the end of the episode, janitor tells JD,
"In my opinion, we should be looking for bin Laden in Pakistan."
In May 2011, 4 years after the episode aired, and nearly a decade after Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden orchestrated the terrorist attack on New York City's World Trade Center towers, US Navy SEALs located him in Pakistan, where he was swiftly executed. So maybe not everything that came out of Janitor's mouth was a downright lie after all. The short-lived X-Files spin-off The Lone Gunmen isn't all that well remembered, including its seeming prediction of the terrorist attack that changed the United States forever. In its pilot episode, which aired on March 4, 2001, a hacker hired by powerful government officials takes control of a Boeing aircraft, intending to fly it into one of the World Trade Center towers. Though the lone gunman managed to stop the plane and the terrorist involved as a hacker instead of hijackers, the show's events are uncannily similar. In fact, conspiracy theories continue to circle that the real attack was orchestrated by the US government, just like on the show. Despite this unintentional prediction, right down to the brand of the plane, not many people made the connection between the episode and the September 11, 2001 attacks. The Lone Gunmen executive producer Frank Spotnitz told the Daily Star, "I woke up on September 11th and saw it on TV, and the first thing I thought of was the Lone Gunmen. But then in the weeks and months that followed, almost no one noticed a connection." Despite running for only 21 episodes between 1987 and 1988, Second Chance, later titled Boys Will Be Boys, makes an eerily spot-on prediction about the eventual death of the Libyan dictator, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Set in the then futuristic year of 2011, St. Peter greets newly deceased souls and has them take a test to determine if they'll be spending eternity in heaven or hell. In one episode, Gaddafi appears before Peter in disbelief that he's dead. When asked to step onto a machine to decide his fate, it lights up red. Peter tells him,
"Because you have ordered the death of innocent people by means of terrorist explosives, you are sentenced to spend eternity wired as a human bomb."
Peter's comment likely refers to the April 5, 1986 bombing of a West Berlin dance hall, where 2 were killed and over 200 were injured. As predicted in Second Chance, Gaddafi died in 2011. Aided by the US, Britain, and France, he was killed at the hands of his own people, who had enough of his lengthy regime. In June 2005, a mere month before 4 terrorists bombed the London Underground and a bus, the cast of Spooks, a British drama about security intelligence agents working to prevent threats, shot an episode that involved an attempted bombing on the city's transportation network. Though the fictional agents stopped the attack, this wasn't the case in the real-life July 7th event, which killed 52 and injured over 770. Spooks star Peter Firth told The Independent, "At one point, the episode wasn't going to be shown because it was too near the mark. In the end, the episode went out in a very heavily edited version." The amended episode eventually aired in September 2005, just a few months after the real bombing. The show's ability to predict the future wasn't limited to this instance, with another example including Russian tensions with the UK. Richard Armitage, who played Agent Lucas North, was a little freaked out over the show's preemptive plotlines, commenting, "Are the Spooks team writing the newspapers as well?" Legends of Chamberlain Heights was a Comedy Central cartoon that followed 3 aspiring young basketball players, running from 2016 to 2017. In one episode, the trio of Grover, Malik, and Jamal encounter the legendary Kobe Bryant after a helicopter crash. He's on the ground being crushed by the chopper, while clutching his trophies and asking the boys to help him. Before they can act, the helicopter explodes. In January 2020, Bryant died tragically in a helicopter crash, along with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. Overcome by thick fog, the pilot was said to have lost his sense of spatial awareness. This caused him to unintentionally fly downward and crash into a hillside, where the helicopter exploded into flames. None of the 9 individuals on board survived the incident. Captain James T. Kirk and Science Officer Mr. Spock are rather stressed in Star Trek Season 2, Episode 26, Assignment Earth, because interstellar agent Gary Seven threatens to wreak havoc on the events of the 20th century. A particularly eerie moment comes when Spock talks about an assassination.
Current Earth crises would fill a tape bank, Captain. There will be an important assassination today.
This episode aired on March 29, 1968, and only a few days later, on April 4th, civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed on his balcony at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. King was actually a massive fan of Star Trek, and he was the one who encouraged actress Nichelle Nichols, one of the first black women to play such a powerful character on screen, to stay on the show as Lieutenant Uhura, after she contemplated leaving TV for Broadway. Nichols said in a Reddit AMA thread that King told her, "If you leave, they can replace you with a blonde-haired white girl, and it will be like you were never there. What you've accomplished for all of us will only be real if you stay." On November 7, 2001, less than 2 months after the attack on the Twin Towers in New York, South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone did what they do best: concoct an over-the-top episode about a headline. In Season 5, Episode 9, the boys travel to Afghanistan to return a goat sent to them by 4 Afghan children as reciprocation for the $1 their teacher forced them to donate. While there, Cartman and friends are taken hostage by Bin Laden and the Taliban. After a Looney Tunes-esque segment between Cartman and the militant, Bin Laden finds himself donning an Uncle Sam ensemble. Not knowing who he is, Bin Laden's followers fire at him, causing the explosive in his hand to detonate. A US Navy SEAL then delivers one more shot to Bin Laden's head. To put it lightly, this is not how things went down in real life. Still, Parker and Stone got a few things right. He was secretly living in plain view of everyone, though in Pakistan, not Afghanistan. And of course, he was shot and killed by a SEAL. In Season 10, Episode 22 of Family Guy, several tales are told, including one where Peter Griffin gains the ability to turn everyone in Quahog into Robin Williams. Though it's fun at first, Peter soon becomes agitated about being surrounded by endless versions of the actor, even tries to kill himself to escape them. The episode originally aired in May 2012, but reruns were shown for years after. On August 12, 2014, the episode finished airing on BBC Three in the UK, just as the news broke of Williams' death by suicide. A BBC spokesperson told The Independent, "This was a repeat that we have shown a couple of times before, so who could have planned that? It was scheduled more than 2 weeks ago. It is just an uncanny coincidence." Another Family Guy episode came extremely close to predicting the death of US Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. In Season 5, Episode 18, Peter calls on Death to send him back in time so that he can stop his 18-year-old self from canceling a date with his now wife Lois. However, Peter accidentally changes the past, and Lois ends up with Glenn Quagmire. When Peter asks Death to send him back so he can make things right, Death recounts,
Dick Cheney, the chairman of Halliburton, shot Supreme Court Justice Scalia in a hunting accident, and the bullet went right through him and killed Karl Rove and Tucker Carlson.
While that exact outlandish situation did not happen, Scalia did die while on a hunting getaway in Texas. On February 13, 2016, about a decade after the 2007 Family Guy episode aired, Scalia was found dead by ranch owner John Poindexter after the Associate Justice didn't attend breakfast. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.